The top stories: Ethiopia and Brazil express keenness to bolster bilateral and diplomatic relations. And calm returns to the streets of Senegal's Dakar after 72 hours of violence. Greetings, D viewers. This is Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shfarah Lakam. Thank you for joining us. Now, Ethiopia and Brazil have agreed to take their bilateral and multilateral diplomatic relations to a higher level. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed held discussion with the Brazilian Minister of Foreign Affairs on the issues pertaining to scaling up the relations between the two countries. Haptam Ashagri has more.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed held consultative discussion with the Brazilian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mauro Vieira, on ways to strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. In his social media, the Premier says that he had fruitful discussion with Vieira to bolster bilateral and multilateral common issues and in a national arena. Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs Demeke Mekonnen discussed with the Brazilian Minister of Foreign Affairs Mauro Vieira today on the issues pertaining to scaling up the relations between the two countries into a higher level. Demeke stated that it is high time for Ethiopian and Brazil strengthen ties, remaining that Ethiopia's reopening of its embassy in Brazil aims to further enhance the relations. He briefed his Brazilian counterpart of Ethiopia's desire to cooperate with Brazil in investment, aviation, tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, environmental protection, mining, energy, among other sectors. The Brazilian Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira, for his part, mentioned that his country is ready to cooperate with Ethiopia in sports and other various fields. Thus, the Foreign Minister has presented the jersey of the Brazilian national team to his counterpart. He confirmed that Brazil is also ready to cooperate with Ethiopia in multilateral diplomatic forums in addition to bilateral relations. An agreement was reached for further political dialogue between the two countries. Ethiopia and Brazil have the leading coffee supplier nations in South America and Africa to international market respectively. The Brazilian delegation led by Mauro Vieira will hold sideline meetings to boost business-to-business ties with Ethiopia. It is to be remembered that the Brazilian Foreign Minister has arrived in Ethiopia for an official walking visit.
In another development, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says adequate and productive use of potential resources and passing them to the next generation is essential for value creation. This came while the Prime Minister inaugurated the Unity Park Botanical Center, the Unity Archive, and the Prime Minister Office Medical Center. Kushumalisu has more on that.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said adequate and productive use of potential resources and pass it down to generation is essential in value creation. Although Unity Park was inaugurated 2 years ago, a wide range of activities are being underway in it to document and build Ethiopian history as well as to pass it to the next generation. The Premier underscored that the renovation is carried out with own capacity, adding that it's promoting important history of the past and put legacy.
We established a team to renovate the park. After our citizens received training from abroad and built enough capacity, the archive built 100% by our own citizens. This place was unpleasant. Now it is renovated attractively. The archive is very essential for Ethiopia. It helps our sons to know their history from the horse's mouth. If students and researchers want to conduct further study, they can access documents easily here.
The other inaugurated project in Unity Park is the Botanic Center, which comprises over 230 plant species, of which 15 of plant species is found alone in Ethiopia. The center represents Ethiopia's 5 topographic features. The premier highlighted that the Botanic Center took 2 years to complete it, and the center helps to protect Ethiopia's plant resources.
The other countries are in a race to take the patent of Ethiopia's teff. There are several species in Ethiopia. If these species are taken to abroad, they would register with their own patent. Therefore, this botanic center will help us to protect our own botanic species. It creates an opportunity for Ethiopians to know a range of species which is not available in all parts of Ethiopia.
Prime Minister Abiy disclosed that adequate and productive use of potential resources and pass it down to generation is essential in value creation.
The principle of prosperity is digging out the indigenous knowledge to practice it in daily lives by adapting to the environment. Unless we recognize the resources in our hand, we cannot achieve our intended goal. If we look into our environment, we can get enough food, medicine, and other potentials from our environment. It is better examining our existing knowledge.
The premier announced that students can visit the center till it completely opened for visitors.
Now, Ethiopian ambassador to Kuwait, Said Mohammed, presented his copy of credentials to the foreign minister of the state of Kuwait, Sheikh Salem Abdullah Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. That's according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. On the occasion, the ambassador conveyed the good wishes of Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeqa Mekonnen to the Foreign Minister of the State of Kuwait. The Ethiopian envoy lauded the historical relationship between the two countries, underscoring the need to further scale it up with renewed engagement. For his part, Sheikh Salem Abdullah Al-Jaber Al-Sabah expressed gratitude for the goodwill wishes of the Ethiopian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister. The Foreign Minister reaffirmed his commitment to supporting the ambassador's endeavors during his stay in Kuwait. Welcome back. You're still watching ETV News. Now, some close to 30 media scholars from Somalia, Rwanda, and Sweden have paid a visit to ETV's newly established complex located at Shagoli area. They've called on ETV to have more collaborations with multiple African countries and local universities as well. Tigster Nisa reports.
Close to 30 media scholars from Somalia, Rwanda, and Sweden have paid a visit to EBC's newly established complex located at Shagoli area. Multiple scholars and students from 7 different local universities were also in attendance. The scholars stated that paying EBC a visit has been quite a good experience sharing for them.
We have come to exchange ideas on, and of course, and experiences on how we can make this profession important, and of course we are aiming at professional journalism, and we are looking at the factors that actually contribute, or the factors that can help us actually better the profession, and we are bringing together journalism and communication educators, and of course media houses, and we are also considering other factors, other enablers that can make the profession so fruitful. This was also a very good experience because we toured Addis Ababa, and of course we had an amazing experience with EBC, that is Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation. And of course, we witnessed what they are doing. Actually, it's an amazing work aiming at, let me say, Pan-African media that everybody should subscribe to.
I think it has come now to serve not just us, but you know, beyond us, beyond Ethiopia. It's a media that, as I heard from presenters. It's a media that's planning to serve the entire continent, and that really is so impressive. And what's being done right now really witnesses that ETV is coming to that summit.
We are here at the EPC, and it is awesome. The kind of structure that is being put up in the facilities has been just magnificent.
They also called on EBC to have collaborations with multiple African countries and local universities as well.
And I would simply call upon EBC to bring on board all other African countries and of course other media houses in different African countries, so that they can actually collaborate on this very important and good cause, so that they can actually position Africa and give it the position that it deserves in the world.
I think what you're doing is really great, but I think you also need to work with us, schools of journalism here in Addis, yes, but there are also others in the regions.
The scholars appreciated what an inspiration EBC has become throughout the years.
Moving on, the Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission has invited the general public to continue submitting issues which could be a national agenda during the Ethiopian National Dialogue Program. The Commission, through a social media post, stated that it is making preparations to facilitate public consultations for agenda collection. It is also reminded that the Commission has already commenced collecting potential national dialogue agenda from the general public through various means. And now in business, the operations director for NAVPASS at Africa Development Aviation Airspace stated that African nations should work harder to develop their aviation industries. The director emphasized it is a must-do task for the region to give the sector the capability, know-how and technology it needs to better seize control of the skies. Kasaun Chani reports.
Radar. Radar, good morning, Ethiopia 602 out of 8,600, rotating.
NAVPASS Africa Development Aviation Airspace is working with various African countries to implement International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, and International Air Transport Association, IATA guidelines to improve the airspace safety, security, and efficiencies. According to Rutungwe Rukarwa from Africa Development Aviation Airspace and in charge of NAVPASS as Operations Director, this new agreement is critical to provide with the capacity, expertise and technology to take control of air sky, enhance global connections and create jobs and economic prosperity of the region. Further enable the continent to promote economic integration and people-to-people linkage. She claimed that NAVPASS Africa Development Aviation Airspace requires a very strong cooperation, being united, and a civil aviation industry.
Absolutely. As I said, I'm building upon what the Emperor did here, right? And what I want to share, my message is that aviation is the key enabler for sustainable development. Of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aviation touches on 15. So I want to urge the nations, the continent, to understand what is aviation and what it can do for you. So that's my big message, and as I said, I'm representing a company called NAVPASS, who has seen the lack on the continent in terms of being organized where aviation is concerned. And when I say aviation, it's collecting revenue in the sky. We've taken our independence on the ground, but we've not been independent to actually see the worth of the real estate that we have in the skies. And just with a few organizations, we can track and trace anything that's happening in our skies and collect the tolls on it.
She explained that the term aviation development encompasses a wide variety of infrastructure, human resources, training and allied capacity building operations. She contends that if every country understood the investment and income generated by the aviation industry and worked together to achieve goals, the continent's economy would quickly grow.
You know, people say Africa, this one trade thing that we have going on, we're talking about 3 trillion, economy for Africa. I believe that every nation, if you make your aviation stand properly, that means civil aviation is collecting rightly and we are compliant according to international regulations, we can turn Africa into a 55 trillion economy. It's possible. So I thank you. I'm just happy to be here to share, you know, those ideas with other people and to noise this thing abroad. And I said, what greater example? I want to talk about aviation from a country that has understood aviation. And I'm here to help them as well. So Civil Aviation Ethiopia, if you're listening, I'm your girl. Let's talk and see what more we can add to what you're already doing.
The aviation industry has been in the news recently for its considerable contribution to global greenhouse gas emissions, with air travel anticipated to double by 2035. This is noteworthy given the significance of aviation development.
Flaps 0. Right.